Ah, come in. I'm. You won't have been here before. This is my workshop. I'm uh, Peter Fox, coming to you from St Edward's Castle, Donington. Well, actually, I'm coming to you from my workshop. And sorry about the mess, but there's always a creative bubble going on in here. I've spent a lot of time in here recently, ever since I retired. I've spent a lot of time just pottering about in here, making things. I'm working on this box to hold my wands, you know, bits and pieces. I like doing an automata, you know. I mean, it doesn't look like much yet, but that's going to be an animated man walking his dog. Well, I'll show you the diagram another time. Anyway, so this is my workshop. I spent hours in here especially since lockdown. I spent a lot of time in here pottering about, making stuff, which is a huge surprise to me. It's an even bigger surprise for anybody who knows me. You know, the fact that I might be doing woodwork, for goodness sake, just for fun. Because the thing is, the family legend is that I'm not the practical one. My older brother Mick, he's the practical one, and the family myth is that I'm the other one. I'm the studious one. All families have these myths, don't they? You know, if there's two daughters in the family, there's always a pretty one and an intelligent one. It never seems to occur to anybody that the pretty one might actually be quite intelligent, or that the intelligent one might be quite pretty. They get their scripts written for them, and my script was, oh, Peter is not so much clumsy as unlucky. I was never supposed to be practical. I don't think I am really all that practical. I think I must have broken Mr. Croucher's heart. Mr. Crouch was my woodwork teacher, and he didn't get me at all. He tried so hard to teach me how to make things with wood, but I was a complete klutz. I was one of those people, you know, if I hit a nail with a hammer, the nail bent. You know, if I took a plane to try and smooth out a piece of wood, it ended up looking worse than it had before. I was just made that way, you know. I was the one who always got his tie trapped in the vise. He tried for 4 years, Mr. Crouch, and he never could quite understand me. I was obviously a complete enigma to him. He thought, well, he's an intelligent enough lad, and I wasn't one of the trouble causers, and I worked really, really hard at it. It's just somehow couldn't teach me woodwork no matter how he tried. Poor Mr. Crouch, if he could see me now, he would never believe it. Thing was, we parted company after 4 years, and I was no better at it than I'd been at the start. So if Mr. Crouch is still anywhere about the place, I would just like to say thank you for trying so hard, Mr. Crouch, and I hope you'd have been cheered up by seeing me now, pottering about, doing woodwork, just for fun. You're probably wondering what changed. Well, I think I owe it to two people. The first one was my brother Mick, the practical one, and he is very practical. Well, I owe him a lot, because Mick got me a job when I was at university, and you had the long vacation, and you had to earn a crust somehow. Mick got me a job on the building site, and much to everybody's amazement, including mine, I loved working on a building site. I mean, mind you, I was still a bit of a klutz. I mean, history will record that I'm the only person who ever worked on Lusher's building site who managed to back a dumper truck through a window. That was me. There's a wall on a certain part of Norwich which is still bent to this day from the time that I reversed my dumper truck into it. I think I was quite popular on the building site, but I don't think it was for my skills. I think it was for I provided a certain amount of amusement. And I have to admit, I enjoyed it. Building sites are funny places. See, one of the things that's so funny is they get a song stuck in their head. You know, there'll be a song going around, and you'll hear some great big, you know, butch navvy, some great hulking builder's labourer, and he'll be carrying a hod of bricks on each shoulder and running up and down ladders, and he'll be singing, "I am strong, I am invincible, I am woman." You just get stuck with these songs. Well, working with Mick on the building site, one of my favourite things, he used to put up the roof trusses. These are great big triangular structures of wood, and you have to get them up onto the top tier of scaffold, and then you have to nail them in position. And you could always tell when I was helping Mick. Mick had got a song by Paul Simon stuck in his head, Duncan. So Mick would be going around like this. Let me just get a hammer and I'll demonstrate. If Mick was, you'd have nails all around the top of the roof, see, and the idea was that you'd come around and just knock the nails in. He'd be going around like this. Couple in the next room, bound to win a prize. They've been going at it all night long. Tap, tap, tap. That was Mick. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Everything going exactly where it should. Roof trusses going up like magic. If I was doing it, it sounded like this. Tap, bonk, tap, tap, bonk, bonk, tap, bonk. Because I kept missing the... like that, missing the nail. Tap, tap, bonk, bonk. Oh, expletive. Deleted. Back, top, bang, top, bong, bonk, top. Anyway, that was the building site. But I did learn to enjoy myself doing these practical things. So thanks, Mick. The other guy who was an enormous help was this fella here. I don't know whether you can see that on the camera. His name was Pat. Pat was an amazing magician, and I was a would-be magician. And Pat took me under his wing when I was about 16 or so, and taught me the trade secrets of stage magic. You know, we're talking rabbits out of hats and card tricks, things like that. And he taught me the things they don't put in the books, the trade secrets, because he'd been in his early years, you know, on the music hall scene. Anyway, Pat seemed to have his magic name, incidentally, his stage name was Harry Carson, but all his friends called him Pat. Anyway, Pat, he seemed to understand how to teach me things. See, the thing is, a lot of practical people, their way of trying to teach you something is to say, you do it like this. And the idea is you just do it the same way they're doing it and you'll get it right. I'm one of those people, if I'm going to understand something, I need to know why. I mean, I need to know why you hold the hammer the way you do. You know, why you hold the hammer here instead of here, for instance. So you get the full use of it. I need to understand about, you know, getting the energy concentrated on a particular spot. Explain that to me and I can make it work. And Pat understood that. It started off with the card magic. He'd say, well, you hold the cards like this instead of like that, so the audience can't see your thumb doing whatever your thumb is doing. Or he'd say, you need to walk on stage like this instead of like that, because that way the audience can see you properly. So he explained why things worked. And that soon became, because he made nearly all his own magic props and an awful lot of mine, that soon became, well, you need to hold a screwdriver like this, not like that, because you need to get your full energy behind the head of that screwdriver so that it goes straight hard into the screw. And he actually explained why. And you know, it's a funny thing. Once I began to understand why, I could then start to work out how. So I'm grateful to them. And we're all lucky, aren't we, like that? We have these mentors through life. I should say, by the time I knew Pat, he was the head of a school for special needs kids. And I suppose when it came to practical things, I was a bit special needs myself. So he understood about teaching. And his philosophy was, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. but you can make a very good pigskin wallet. It's about horses for courses, working out how to make life work for you. So there we are. I was very lucky, and consequently here I am in my 60s doing what I never imagined I'd be doing, making things out of wood in my workshop, as happy as Harry. So what's all this add up to? Well, first of all, don't let other people write your script for you. Follow your own script. Just because people tell you that you're no good at something or you'll never be good at something, you decide. You decide what you want to be good at. You write your own script. That's the first thing. The second thing is, just because you find something difficult now, don't give up. Sometimes things that you find difficult become easier as time goes by. So don't give up. And the third thing I'd have to say is, you can teach an old dog new tricks. Be an old dog who's still learning. And has any of this got anything to do with God? Of course it has. Because God's got wonderful things waiting for you. If you just go on learning, go on growing, there's lots and lots of more good things for you to discover. Life can be a lot richer than you ever imagined. God bless. Now, couple in the next room, bound to win a prize. They've been going at it all night long.